So the last video I posted, riding 250 miles around Florida, was because of the IDSA's May Warm Up Challenge. The IDSA is a long distance skateboarding group that puts on Ultra Skate, and also during the year they do a bunch of challenges, online that everybody can participate in. It's awesome. If the algorithm showed you this tiny little channel about skateboarding, it thinks you like skateboarding enough that you should probably go check out the IDSA and join and play skateboarding with everybody on there. But when I posted the video, someone asked about the setups, and I figured you don't have to try too hard to get me to talk about skateboarding. So here's the setups. I have a decent little collection of skateboards. I've skateboarded my whole life, but I only found long distance skateboarding a few years ago. I've done like 3 Ultra Skates, and I've done all the challenges through the IDSA since I joined there, and it's very fun. I like long distance skateboarding now, and these are the setups that I chose. I was gonna do, to get 400 kilometers in, I was gonna do 100 kilometers-ish a week and switch boards every week. And I figured if I did about 15 a day, average, even if there was a couple of rain days in there, that would get me to my 400 by the end of the month. So the first setup I used for the first week is this guy. This is a Rocket Rambler deck. Tensor Mag Light trucks, Seismic Tailwinds, and very cool, these are the Bronson raw bearings that don't have shields, which they just sound cool. And I was a little concerned about that at first, not having shields, but I ride around the beach every day and I had no problems, so I like them. The tailwinds, I don't know why. It might be the shape of the core, or it might be that they're a touch wider than the speed vents, or it might just be that they're fresher. But I feel like they absorb vibration better than the speed vents, or it could be completely in my head. I could be imagining it. But one of those things made me really like the speed vents. The mag lights, when Indy got weird and took the cross off the trucks, I decided to start using other people's trucks for my traditional Kingpin trucks. And Tensor are so much lighter than everything else out there that them and Venture are about the only trucks I buy now that are traditional Kingpin. The deck is really cool. The deck is light. It has like that holotech type construction where the wood's routed out and then it's covered with the composite. So there are actually hollow spots in the wood that you can see kind of pressure dented from me standing on it for hundreds of miles. But that's pretty cool. It's probably my favorite deck if I'm gonna go 10 or 20 miles. Past that, the concave is a little bit deep for me, and I don't like how my foot feels after going super far on it. But for 10 and 20 miles, my favorite deck. It has stickers that say skate and go to remind me what I'm doing if I look down. And the grip tape, I don't really grip the whole skateboard anymore for long distance. I feel like as long as there's enough traction to keep me from slipping off in a little rain, that's plenty. So that's the first setup I used for the first week. Did a little over 100 miles on it. The only thing I did different than I had it set up previous to this month was I put a little bit of riser, some wedges, stacked up underneath boat trucks to lower the touch. The difference was in pushing was probably negligible. Probably all that really did was put a few more scratches on the bottom. But regardless, very fun to ride. The second week, I rode this guy. This wasn't weird because it doesn't have any leopard print on it. I don't have very many skateboards that don't have something leopard print on them. But regardless, it has some pineapples and palm trees instead. So that's good too, I guess. But that's a GBomb deck. Very shapely. I've had it for a couple years. It's a solid deck. I like it. I have a GBomb bracket in the front, the composite one. Very good, solid. I have a GBomb tail in the back. No sphericals, has the bushings instead, and a Hydra, same no sphericals, bushings. This is kind of the only, I don't pump a lot, I push a lot more, and this is the setup that I use when I feel like trying to pump. As rare of an occasion as that is. The crazy thing is though, I put these Dad Bods on it. This is Orangatang's giant wheel, you've probably seen. And I'm not a pumper. I was surprised. I thought that everyone says that bigger wheels are inefficient for pumping, and maybe it's just my inexperience pumping, but they pumped fine, and they hold momentum forever. Like, maybe it's harder to get up to speed, but when you're at speed, man, these wheels are smooth and go a long, long way. I kind of like them. Again, I use them for a little bit before this, but not a ton. And for this 1 week, and I think I did like 125 or something kilometers on them. So I don't have a ton of experience on them, but the little bit I have, I really enjoyed them. And the rest of the setup, the Exile and the brackets is GBomb knows what they're doing. That's good stuff. Very good, very fun. The third deck I used, setup I used, is this guy. Mag lights again for the same reason. Speed vents. If you know, everyone knows speed vents are very, very good. What I got in there? Oh, these are another set of Bronson bearings. I run those a lot lately. They're very nice. And the deck is probably the deck that I've put more miles on since I started to enjoy long distance skateboarding than any other decks. Maybe not this one specifically. This is the second of this exact same deck I've gotten. This is the Zenit AB Maze. It's just simple and works and feels great. I really, really like that as a pushing around town or long distancing deck. And it also says go skate. And it says go real big here. I like this deck. It's just such a simple, there's nothing here you don't need. I like this deck. It was kind of boring though. It was kind of just brown everywhere. So I did spray paint the top of it a little bit to make it look as fun as it is to ride. Very fun deck. The last one. Well, so after 3 weeks, I kind of did a little bit more than 100 every week. So I didn't have that many left to do. So when I had like 50 kilometers left to do, I switched to this one. This is another deck that I got. It's a Bustin Boards Mini Maestro. It's a Bustin Boards Mini Maestro. And this is also the second of this I had. The first one I wore out because it was kind of my go-to grab on the way out the door. If I'm not riding a skateboard with a nose and tail, you know, a popsicle stick or a cruiser, this is kind of my go-to just down the street board. So this is the second one I've got. I really like the shape. I really like the deck. I hated it at first. I had reverse kingpin trucks on it at first, and I really didn't like it. And as soon as I switched to a set of Indy 169s, it got awesome. And I wish Tensor would come out with a 169-ish truck. The biggest they make that I've seen, I believe the biggest they make, is an 8.5. And if they made one just a touch bigger, I would probably switch these trucks out for a set of Tensors. But in the meantime, I've got Indies on it. And kind of the reason I chose this deck for the last week was because I always rode it with 70 millimeter wheels. And I thought, well, I need to do 50 more kilometers. That's a good chance to throw some bigger wheels on. I have these flipped. These are Seismic Blast Waves, 78mm Mangoes, and I just wanted to see how this was with bigger wheels, to see if this was be any kind of a distance board. It's okay. It's not going to take the place of any of these other ones. In a pinch, it'll go wherever you want to. So, if I had to pick a favorite from the 400 kilometers of each week, I would say hands down, whatever. That's enough. So, I would like to go skateboarding and stop talking now. I only need one though.